Good day, friends. We'll be taking you through a very important topic that is on the earned value. So, this introduction will provide you on the brief introduction, brief history of earned value, how to calculate it, what are the benefits. It will also outline the various methods and examples how to calculate the earned value, and then we can wrap up the session. So let us go with an example. What is the definition? There are various definitions that has been put down by various noted people. Very simply put, earned value is a method to measure performance. It provides a way to compare planned work, actual work, and accomplished work, and to allow one to determine the overall percent complete of work involving unliked activities such as pouring concrete, erection, steel, etc. So, it is a basis wherein we will be able to know what is the accurate overall percentage complete of the work that is completed. So let me take you through where it started and how it started. So the introduction of earned value management or earned value calculation is started in the year 1965 by the US Air Force. The earned value was first introduced by the US government in 1965 by the Department of Defense and NASA Guide to PERT or the PERT calculation and the cost. It was considered burdensome and difficult, especially by contractors who were instructed to use it, and only few people were trained in this application. And as the years passed by, it became a norm in the industry of calculating the projects based on the critical path analysis and everything. Then in
Just one thing, is it audible now? Okay, thanks.
67 it was adopted by the US government Department of Defense. Then slowly what happened is that in 1996 private industry also introduced, and the title earned value management and EVMS was globally talked about concept, and it was into most of the projects it was working on. So next, what are the benefits? The benefits is like Koppelman said, the earlier you know that you have a problem on the project, the better chance you will have to mitigate the problem. And earned value offers several benefits. It is accurate, it is objective, it can provide early warnings, and it enables forecasting. So earned value has a lot of benefits. Let me just put down some of the benefits. First, it is accurate. Then it is objective. EVM is a management system from which objective measure of project performance can be derived. Next, it will give you an early warning, rapid ability to identify those work packages that need management attention, because it will give you an capability wherein you will be able to know what is the actual completion and how it is going to be impacted and what are the things that are balanced to be done. So that is why it is able to give you early warnings, and it is a very good way wherein you can forecast the future performance and the completion dates. Next, we come down to the progress measurement. So on the progress measurement, the various progress measurement methods are based on units, incremental, milestones, start finish, cost ratio, weighted units. So these are the various methods. So if you can take in the training of one of my presentation on the progress measurement, I have put down details of how these things are working. Next, if you can look into what is the earned value. The earned value is the percentage complete multiplied by the budget. So what happens is that for every activity, we'll be having a budget. So for that budget, the total budget multiplied by what is the amount of completion of that activity will give you an earned value. Okay. So what is EVM? So in the EVM, there are key terms that are important. One is the planned cost, second is the earned cost, third is the spent cost, and then from these things we are able to know what is the SPI, what is the CPI, what is the schedule variance. Now, what is the schedule performance index? Is the earned value divided by the planned value. What is the cost performance index? Is the earned value divided by the spent value. What is the schedule variance? Is the earned cost minus the planned cost. So what is the cost variance? Is the earned minus spent. So these are the ways wherein you will be able to calculate the various EVM terminologies or EVM codes. Let me give you an example. Let us take an example, and this will help us clear the concept of EVM. So what happens is that if suppose we are going to bake some cookies and we need 1,000 cookies, and so after sitting down and thinking how we have to make cookies and how we have made in the past, we arrived that we can bake 40 cookies in a batch and can do 5 batches in 1 hour. Then it will take us 5 hours to do 1,000 cookies. Okay, we know that our total cost should be 500 rands, which works out to be 50 cents for each cookie. If we have to plot this over time, our expected production performance should look something like this. Correct? So to bake 1,000 cookies, what we require, we can cook 40 in a batch. So 5 batches per hour. So 200 cookies per hour. So in schedule is 5 hours. So 1,000 cookies at 200 per hour. So the budget is 500 and the per cookie cost is 50 cents. So if we put down into our time frame or a graph, if the total number of hours is 5, so in 5 hours, if we can do 40 cookies per batch, and that will make up about 200 cookies per hour. So every hour, if we are able to do 200 cookies, then we will be able to complete it in 5 hours. So that was our plan. Now when we executed it, we are looking into, after 1 hour of work, we spent 90 rands on ingredients. Okay, so the actual cost that we spent is 90 rands. Our plan was to spend 100 rands per hour, but we spent 90 rands. So budget is 100, 5 hours, so 100 rands per hour, but we actually spent 90 rands. Okay, so we have spent less than what we have planned. Correct? So if we have spent less than what we have planned, so we will just put it down into our calculation. So instead of 100 rands per hour, we have spent 90. So this is my new batch. So this is, let me just mark it. So let me mark it in different color. So this is the new line. So this is a bit less than the original line. Okay. So now we have come down to the third aspect. After 1 hour, we made 150 edible cookies. Okay. Some were burned, some fell on the floor, and which we fed to the dog. And the earned value of 150 cookies multiplied by 50 becomes 75. So the earned value of 150 cookies comes down to 75. Okay. So now we see that the plan was to spend 100 rands. We spent 90 rand. What we earned is 75. So now our plan was to make how much? Our plan was to make 200 cookies per hour, right? What we did, we were only about to make 150 cookies in 1 hour, but the amount of money we spent was 90 rand. What should have been spent should have been 100 rand. So what the different things that comes into picture is the plan was 100 rand, spent 90 rand, earned is 75 rand. So now we come down to the third aspect. The green line is the earned line. So here we are looking into the total cost that we have earned is 75. Now let's calculate the various aspects that we have calculated as of now. The first part, the schedule variance is the earned minus planned is 150 minus 50 minus 200 is 50. So we are behind schedule. The cost variance, earned minus spent, 75 minus 90. So it's minus 15. So we are spending much more than we planned. So what is the SPI? It's 150 divided by 200. What is 150 is the earned value. What is the planned value is 200. So 0.75. So it's less than 1. So we are running late. What is CPI? Earned divided by spent. 75 divided by 90. So it's 0.83. So this is less than 1. So that means on the cost also we are spending more, getting less. So for every 100 rands we spend, we are only getting 83% rand as value. So the time delta, earned minus planned, is about 15 minutes is in this example. So from here we are able to know we are getting delayed by how many? 15 minutes. So this is how our examples come into picture. Okay. You can see the total variance, the schedule variance is from here to here. The cost variance is from here to here. So the cost is from here to here. So for the schedule variance, how many days we are behind? We are behind by 15 minutes, right? On the cost variance, how much it is? The cost variance is about 17 or the 17 rands. So this is how we are performing with respect to our earned value calculation. So this is, if I do a calculation with respect to how we are doing. So the estimated completion is budget divided by CPI. So my CPI is 0.83. So my budget was 500. So it is coming down to 600. So what we do is for 1 hour we are performing like this. Then for the end of the project, what is the forecast that we require? So this is the forecast. Instead of 500 rands, we will be requiring 600 rands. So this becomes my estimated completion. For my time of completion, how much time will be required? So instead of 5 hours, we'll be requiring 6.67 hours. So that means we'll be requiring 1 hour 40 minutes longer, and it will be 20% more than our budget. So this is how we know that the forecasting for my project. So my forecast say that we require more money, we require more time. So this is the graph. If I can put down the graph, the various forecast cost, the forecast production, all these things, we can know that our performance, and with respect to my plan, how much is based on the actual and how much is based on the forecast. And then on the earned value precautions. So what happens is that if you can look into the productivity, initially the productivity is less, but as we go down in the middle, the productivity increases, and then as we go down, the productivity again comes to an end. So for every project, the productivity at the beginning, at the end is a bit less, and in the middle section, it's at the maximum. Next, on the real world example, if we can look into some of the activities, the major area or crafts are weighted according to the value of the work in rands or the effort of the work in man hours. So what we do, we take in the activities and we put down a weightage to it. Okay. So what we do, we put down the planned as this, the earned, how much we earned as this, and then what we do, we multiply it with the weightage, and when we do the multiply with the weightage, we get the weighted plan and the weighted earn. So here we can able to see what is my planned cost percentage and what is my earned percentage. So this is my planned percentage, this is my earned percentage. So this is the way wherein we'll be able to know what is the variance with respect to my percentage. Thank you.
So friends, I think with respect to earned value management, you got a clear indication like what it is. So in a nutshell, what is earned value? Earned value is for every dollar you spend, what is the value you get. So in the other sessions that I am having, you will be also able to see how you can put down quantity into the things so that it will be easy for you to understand. Like for every activities, what is the scope, what is the actual, and how it is getting interlinked with the cost and everything. So now let us go to the next thing. The next thing, let us go on to the visualizer. So what is visualizer, how good it is? Because as I know that the most of the people who have joined are professionals. So I will not go into the basics of project management, stating like what are the 5 pillars, like the initiation, on the planning, on those things. So I'm taking it through the to a more advanced stage. So let me go through what is onto the visualizer. So Primavera visualizer. So any questions you may please ask it onto the chat box so that I will be able to answer you.
Okay friends, so this is the topic, introduction to Primavera Visualizer. So I'll be taking you through what the software is all about and how to get into it. Okay, so what is Visualizer? Visualizer for Primavera P6 is a software product. It's an add-on that provides us with read-only, more visually attractive version of any project schedules that have been stored in the P6 database. It combines together the original timescale logic diagram and the neo-style Gantt chart. It also has a tool which provides you with respect to schedule comparison. So with respect to the few minutes, we'll be able to understand how to do it. Hi. So in this topic, we'll be looking into how to use my Primavera visualizer in your projects and a brief introduction to it and how it is beneficial for creating Gantt chart, to make schedule comparison, or to make time scale logic diagram. So it's a very powerful tool, and a lot of people do not use it, but I recommend that Primavera visualizer should be used because it makes the reporting very powerful. If suppose this is your P6 page, how it looks like, and how to go to the visualizer page, you have to go down to tools. Under tools, you have to just go to visualizer. As you click onto it, you will be able to driven in to this page, and when you once you place put down the plus sign, here you will be getting three selection. One is the TSLD, that is time scale logic diagram. Second is the Gantt. Third is the schedule comparison. Let's go one by one. Let's go to time scale logic diagram. If suppose I check the time scale logic diagram, it is going to show me which project I want to choose for the time scale logic diagram. Suppose I go down here and I look into my project and I say, okay, in my project, let me go down to commissioning and I select this one, right? As I select this, then I select next. Then I will look into from one of the existing one I want to look into it. Suppose I check in the P6 visualizer and I do the draw. Then if you can look into it, is going to show me the time scale logic diagram, and it is just going to show me what is the activities that has been completed, what are the activities that has not been completed, and what is the critical path that I am looking into. So this is how the TSLD looks like. So it is going to show you the calendar at the top, and from on the bottom it is going to show you the activities based on the current date as well as what is completed at the past. This is your data date, and what is the activities that is on the critical path and what are not completed. So now let's go to the next part. The next part is if I go down to on the Gantt chart. Yes, I want to close it. Similarly, I again go down here and I again have to choose down the selection of my project. So again I go down here and I select my commissioning again, and I go down here and I do a next. Again I do an open from existing. Suppose I do I make a selection my Gantt chart final. So it will take some time to load. Okay, I think there is some error into it. Let me go down to my page again. Sorry, I go down to this. I go to my Gantt chart. I go down here and I go to selection. Select my commissioning. I do a next here. I do an open from existing. Suppose I do my commissioning and then I do a draw. Okay, perfect. So here if you can look into, here I am able to put down the actual as a proposed start finish in a single row. In Primavera it is the basics P6 it is not possible, but in visualizer you are able to do it. And if you can look into the colors, the size, and if you can look into the bars, so a lot of customization can be done. And if you do a print preview with this, the look and feel is much better with Primavera P6 visualizer. So this is how my chart looks like, the Gantt chart. So this is how my Gantt chart looks like, and I have also shown you how my time scale logic diagram looks like. Now let's go to the next part. The next part is on the schedule comparison. So I want to close it, yes. So again I go down to here and I show what my comparison is like. Wow. So this is the project differences report. It is going to show you the following activities has been added into this project. So here we compare two projects. So I have taken in one project and the another project. These are the activities that got deleted. So it gives you a very detailed list of all the things. What are the WBS that got added? What are the WBS that got deleted? And by this, it becomes much more easier with respect to getting a project difference report. So, so this is what Primavera P6 Visualizer is all about. I hope you liked the session. Thank you so much.
So friends, now I have taken you through on the visualizer. So before I go into how construction gets work into the construction industry, I would also like to take you onto the basic of one more item, that is on the introduction to JIRA, because that is also one of the tool that is very important when you work on your projects. So this will help you to know understand about what is JIRA and what are the basics concepts into it, and so that when you take my next sessions, you'll be able to understand like how it works actually. So let me introduce you to JIRA. So this is give you a very good platform to the people who are new to JIRA. So I would recommend to please pay attention on what is this about.
Good day, friends. So today's topic is introduction of JIRA. What is JIRA? JIRA is a software application used for issue tracking and project management. The tool developed by the Australian software company Atlassian has become widely used by agile development team to track bugs, stories, epics and other tasks. So as we take on to your journey on introduction of JIRA, I'll be taking you through one by one steps with respect to how to add in activities, how to look into the reports, and what are the basics that you must know, understanding what is JIRA all about. So basically, JIRA is an agile project management tool that is widely used, and the most popular company or the tool that most of the users use is Atlassian JIRA. So before we start, let me take you brief on how do, how does it look like? How does the JIRA page look like? So whenever you put in data into your JIRA, so it has a tool wherein it will be able to put down activities, tasks, epics, or tasks, or you can also say stories. So I'll be taking you through what does this epic means, what are the subtasks means, and how to add in the activities, and how to make sure that something is done, how to map it as done, in progress, to be started. So this is basically how Jira looks like.
Yeah,
Okay, now what is a Jira project? A project is a container
container
that
that
groups
contains.
tasks together.
Right.
So in Jira, what are the basic standards that we used? The basic standard issue
Mm-hmm.
types are story. A story is a user story. We can call it project or client requirements. What is a task? A task is a thing that needs to be completed. What is a bug? A bug is a problem that needs to be fixed. What is an epic? Epic is a large body of work that may take some time to complete. So with respect to Jira, there is we can use the JQL or the Jira query language. Jira query language allows to make searches in Jira more convenient and powerful by using expressions to specify exactly what we want. So this is one of the way by which we'll be able to look into which area we want to look into and which are the particular segment that we want to focus on. But with respect to without JQL also, we can have our standard searches, filters that we can use it. What is a Jira dashboard? It helps in creating personalized, customized reports. We can customize the dashboard by adding gadgets. Using these gadgets will give a quick overactivity and progress on the platform. So Jira have a built-in gadgets into the system like burn down chart or your status charts, and by using those charts we'll be able to look into what are the things that we require in the dashboards. Dashboards can also be shared between groups, projects, or any logged in users. Now we come down understanding sprints. Sprint is a fixed period of time during which a Scrum team work on issues that have committed to complete during the period. By default, Jira is a 2-week period, which comes to essentially 10 working days. Depending on team size, we can adjust on the number of days in the sprint as needed. So what happens is that if suppose we are working on a project and we want to look into, we are focusing on the next 10 days, what are the activities that we need to complete. So what we do, we take in those activities and we prioritize that and we put it into a sprint reporting, and we say that these are the 10 these are the activities that needs to be completed in the next 2 weeks. And if suppose someone says that 2 weeks is not adequate, we need to make it 3 weeks or 4 weeks, that is also possible. But by default, Jira has a week period of 2 weeks. So what are the details that we require in sprint? One is on the name of the sprint, and second is the duration. And what is the status? Status in the sense whether it is active sprint or it is in future or it is closed. So now in an active sprint, any sprint that are currently in progress will be displayed as active sprints. Active sprint will include the following details. It will include the name of the sprint, duration of the sprint and its status, while the logans shows it as active. So in the bar status bar, it is going to show you that this thing is active. Percentage of activity, percentage of completed issues in the sprint, percentage of how full the sprint is in terms of estimated units, number of unestimated issues and unassigned issues in the sprint. So that is all about active sprints. Now, let us talk about some of the core terms that we have in sprints. One is estimation and velocity. Issues can be estimated using story point. Velocity measures the number of estimation units that a team usually completes from sprint to sprint. It is effectively a productivity rate based on the estimation of volume of work. So that means what is the total number of units that a particular team completed from one sprint to another. So this is going to show you for every sprint what is your productivity rate with respect to your past sprints. Next, story points are recommended instead of time-based estimates. If we estimate that a story will take 2 hours to complete, it is no guarantee that the estimate is 100% accurate. Story points, on the other hand, focus on estimating the size of the issue, and small issue can be estimated as a 1 or 2 story points. A large one will require 5 to 6 story points. So this is what we talk about story points. If suppose it's a large activity, large issue, so what we can do is that we can put down the number of story points to 5 to 6. If it is a small issue, we can put down as 1 or 2, and based on that we get on closing the issues one by one. What is estimated story points? There's a huge variety of ways to estimate stories, but the objective of every approach is to able to get better at predicting how much work the team can do at each sprint. In Agile Scrum, this translates to knowing the team's velocity. Next, we come down logging work on issues. Team often needs to be able to estimate how long a product will take to deliver from sprint to sprint. As they work through the stories, the team will develop a cascadence of completing units of work they had estimated. This is also called velocity. The team has to track the amount of estimation units they have completed from sprint to sprint to know how much they can fit into each future sprint and have conviction that the work will be completed. Now, this is one more good thing. If suppose we have some repeated sort of jobs in which we know that after this particular sprint, we have a future sprint which is going to have a similar sort of activities and a similar sort of output. What we do is that we look into the velocity of that sprint, and then we look if this is the velocity we have achieved as of now. So in future also this is going to happen, and in the future the completion date will be this. So now, how time tracking appears on an issue. The estimated field displays the amount of time originally anticipated to resolve the issue. The remaining field displays the amount of time currently anticipated to resolve the issue. The log field displays the amount of time logged working on the issue so far. Choosing to include subtasks displays the aggregated time of an issue and all its subtasks. When we log time for the first time, the time spent is subtracted from the original estimate and the resulting value is automatically presented in the remaining estimate. When subsequent work is logged, any time spent is subtracted from the remaining estimate. Before beginning, ensure JIRA administrator has enabled a time tracking feature. One good thing about JIRA is that we can also import the documents from Excel file to JIRA. So this is one of the advantages that JIRA has, wherein if we convert our JIRA file, our Excel file to CSV mode, then it's an easy way wherein we can convert our Excel file to a JIRA file. So let me show how to consider the field when you want to import your field from an Excel to a JIRA. So this is one of the way wherein we put down the key, we can put down the story, the project, the summary, and after that we can also put down the priority, the assignee, the status, resolution, the creator, on which date it was created, the start date, the end date. And once we put down all these things in Excel, then we can easily put down or transfer it to a CSV file, and then we can import it into a JIRA file. So now let me show you how one of the reports looks like. So in a sprint reporting, it is going to show you what is the total number of days remaining, and on a day-to-day basis, it is automatically going to update it. Wherein, if suppose you are watching it today, and if I watch it tomorrow, it is going to show me 15 days, and then it is going to show you this is some of the status or some of the charts that have included, that are the default charts that we have it here in JIRA in dashboard reporting, and it is going to show me what is the total number of remaining estimate for each and every balance activities that is not completed. So we know that for this activity it is 1 week 4 days, for this activity is 1 week 1 day. And one thing, if you can notice, for sprint we have a duration of 10 days, right? 10 working days, but here it is showing as 60. That means I have chosen my sprint to be 25 days. Upon that 25 days, 16 days is remaining, and of those 16 days, the balance works that needs to be completed are these. So the flushing work will take 2 weeks, the flushing for lean gas will take 2 weeks. Similarly, I come down on the status. The total done activities is 18, the in progress is 14, the to do activities is 13, and this is one of the introduction we can put down. Similarly, we can also put down the status, what is the total count of, but in terms of percentage. Then we see on a week on week basis what are the total number of issues we have created, what are the issues we have closed. So this is what JIRA can do to your projects. I hope with this we have got an introduction how we can use JIRA in our projects.
Okay, friends, now I think we have got the basics of what is Jira about and what is visualizer. So now let me take you into on projects. How do you work on the dashboard reporting? Actually, in real-time projects, how do you look into the managing the critical activities, critical projects? How to look into the dashboard reporting? So this is one of the way that is going to explain you like how dashboard important is so important in the projects and how to actually do it. So any questions, as I say, you can please type down into the chat box.
Good day friends, this is Amit here. So today's topic of discussion is how to have an interactive dashboard and how to work on critical projects using the tool of Power BI. So what we have done is that we are able to look into a schedule wherein what is the timely deliverables, what is the requirement and how we are achieving. So when we start up with a story wherein we say that this is how my trend is required and this is how, where we are right now. Then we look into for the last few months what is the average progress that we are looking into. Then we look into what are the balance works that is still balanced. Then we look into what is the estimate that it is going to take. Then we look into what is the completion estimate that we are looking into. And then we look, if this is the estimate we are having, then we look into what is the plan that we are planning. Then we have the plan. The plan is much more higher than the requirement. Then we look into, is there any possibility for us to put down additional resources or to do a crashing and how to achieve that. So this is on the high level. Let's go down onto the next level. Onto the next level, what we are going to do is that here we are able to see some of the updates, like what is the progress on the discipline wise, on the area, like on the high level areas, what is the scope that is balanced, what is total completed quantities. And if I look into the mechanical works, it is going to show me for the mechanical what is the completion, what is the sum total, that is the work has been completed. So it says that upon 50%, if the total weightage is 50%, that means about 60% of the work is completed. And what are the works that needs to be completed? So these are the works that needs to be completed. Similarly, if I look into the electrical works, it is on the same story wherein we say that 0.15% is the total weightage that we are taking into for electrical and CNI. Upon that, about 50% of the work. So what is the balance? It says about 286 kilometers of cable link is balanced. Then it's also saying some dismantling of cable work is required, some panel refurbishment. So this is how we are looking into the areas. Similarly, if I look into the civil works, on the civil works also, this is how we are progressing. So on the civil works, the concreting, the balance work is about 2053 cubic meter of concreting. Then if suppose we want to look into the critical path with respect to can we deep dive more into it, then what we do is that we go into the details. Into the details, what we do is that we look into more details with respect to the agencies, with respect to your systems. If suppose I look into the boiler area, in the boiler area, the mechanical works is the major thing that is balanced, and upon that, what are the scope? These are the scope, what are the actions that we have completed, and what are the sum of the balance works. So it's also going to look into it. What are the areas where we do not have resources? Then I say on the resources, lack of resources. So we are having lack of resources on the ducting work, on the wall erection, on the structure erection. Then I look into what are the areas where we do not have material. Then we come down to the material. On the material side, these are the areas where we do not have material. Then we look into with respect to your manpower. Are there any area where there are manpower issues? Then I go down to the manpowers. So these are the areas where there are manpower issues. So looking into these, we can look into how easy it is for us to go down deep dive to a particular position, and we know that the areas which have manpower issues, the agencies and everything. Now if suppose I look into the in progress work, so what are the things that are in progress? Then I look into what are the things that are not started. Then I look into what are the areas which are done by a particular contractor. Then if suppose I choose in any of the contractor, then I look into what is the balance scope of work, and for all this work for which things they do not have manpower, then these are the areas for which there is lack of manpower. Which of the areas they do not have material, then I look into these are the areas which they do not have material. So this is one of the easier way wherein we are able to track down to a detailed level to our things. Next we go down to the material status. On the material status we look into, we have the BOQ. So what we do is that we look into the total BOQ item, how many items are there. So if suppose currently my BOQ item is 4300 or whatever, upon that I say the mechanical is 3400, electrical is this and this, then I go into the system wise. If suppose I go on the coal handling plant, on the coal handling plant most of the areas are 813 mechanical items are there, and these are the scope. Now I say what are the areas for which there are no materials. Then what I do, material availability is no. So here I look into the hoists and the motors, we do not have material available for that. Then if suppose I go into the structure work, on the structure work which are the areas for which we do not have material, so these are the areas for which we do not have material. Now if suppose I want to go into the boiler area, so these are the boiler area. Now next go to the next level. The next level is onto the area owner. Onto the area owner, what we do, if suppose I go to the person, suppose I go for a area owner, suppose any person I choose it. If suppose I choose in any of the person here, and I see under that person what are the areas he has been handling, these are the serial number he has been handling, for which all discipline he is handling, and then we look into what are the balance. Then I look into for which areas this particular person doesn't have material, then I look into no material availability. So he doesn't have material for the piping and walls for these areas. So which area is it? It is for the DG house. Now I look into for the type of area, like whether it's cable, equipment, is it piping, PVC, trays, valves. So this is one of the easier way wherein it's easy for us to track down on the material. Next we come down to the next area. If suppose we talk about the risk. So this is the risk register that we follow. Onto the risk register, we say that the inherent risk, the before we started on the project, what is the risk that we already carried. Then we say on the inherent risk out of 9, the maximum, the risk we carried was 8. So it is a very risky project at from the very beginning. And what were the risks? So these are the risks. So it started from which area? From the commissioning, equipment safety, material timeline, and all those things. And now after the mitigations, how many are open, how many are closed. Now after mitigating all of these things, what are the balance residual risk? So this is 6.76. So this is still at a high risk. So now what are the risks that are at high risk? Then we look into the high risk areas are these things. So it's metal non-availability, the schedule non-availability of schedule, non-availability of manpower. So we are looking into all these things. So this is a way wherein it's easy for us to look into the risk and everything. So similarly, if I look into the control owner, who is the general contractor, who is the owner of it, if it is a common, then these are the common areas. If it is by a particular contractor, it's for the contractor. So looking into the spreadsheet, I think it's we are able to see that how easy it becomes with respect to categorize the risk and to look into a particular risk. If suppose I look into the execution risk, these are the execution risk. The planning risk, these are the planning risk. If I look into the procurement risk, these are the procurement risk. So only thing, we should have our data update. How to do the data update? We do the data update by linking all these things to our Primavera schedule. So when I look into taking my next courses, I'll be able to tell that how we are doing that. So thank you so much.
So friends, I think now you have got a very good understanding like how the project review actually takes place in in a project, and why it is important that to have all your data into a single place. Because in Power BI, what is more important is that the data should be very much accurate and it should be very much live. So with it means that you should have a cloud storage wherein everybody gives their data into a one place, and all this data gets accumulated, and it becomes easy for the team to just get a report at a nick of the second stating that this is the report. So these are very important aspects in any project. Now I will take you through how do you look into an integration system, how to have an integrated system. So there is one software called as Confluence, and how to use that I'm going to explain you now.
Good day friends. So as I said, how do you have an integrated system in place for managing your projects? So in this, we have a very good place called as Confluence. Confluence is one of the tools that has been provided by Atlassian, and we can use it as a project management tool for our projects. And the best thing about this is that we should have a system which will be able to integrate all our project softwares into one place, wherein there is a visibility and everybody can look into the integration, how does it happens. So in this case, Confluence is something that has worked out very well for our projects, and it is also a tool which is very powerful. If suppose this is one of the projects that I have worked on, here I have used lucid charts. So this is something that we have used lucid charts, and then if I come down and if I can look into the other things, so this is also on the lucid charts. And if suppose I want to look into what is, if I want to make some changes into it, then I can directly go down here to my charts, and I'll be able to link, I will be able to go down to this place and I can make the changes to this. So that's an edit link, and I can go to the edit link, and this is going to open in the new tab, and after that I can make any changes whether this is complete or not complete, and then we can update the same, and when it gets updated, the same gets updated here also. Similarly, if suppose there is something, I say that this activity we have received a response, then I can just go down here to my sheet and I can just change it, and the output will be available here only. Similarly, if we can go down, we can put down all the details into this, and it can be shared across all our teams. If suppose I want to add in some other person in our project team who can edit the same, I can add it. If suppose I want to remove someone from the project, I can remove it. And and there are some key terminologies that everybody should know. Everybody can put down their details into this. Similarly, if there is some information that I would like to share with the team, that can be done. And also, one of the best part, that JIRA or any agile tool that you're using, it can also be integrated. Or if you have a web application, you can put down the link, and that will also be able to visualize the same. If suppose you're using Oracle BI, so the Oracle BI link, you can share it here. And if your team is working on a web-based platform, then all the tools, all the reporting will be very much visible. If suppose this is one Jira charts that I've used, the total to do is 68 and the available documents is 3. And similarly, on the medium number of risk is 67, highest risk is 4, and with no component it's this. The total number of documents is 71. Here, what the simple thing what we do is that I can go down to my JIRA and I can see what are the documents. If suppose in review is 0, available documents is 3, to do is 68, and then I can look into what are the boards that I can look into. And if I can go down to boards, I can see what are the to do. And then if something is complete, I can just make here and make this item as medium to high. And suppose if something is complete or I want to put down a reference, I can easily put down. Similarly, if to do, I can make it as done. So as I do the update here, the same thing gets updated to my master sheets. So this is a very good tool of Confluence that we can use in our projects. So I hope with respect to the project management, we can see how the interface happens. So here I have used Lucid Charts, here I have used Agile Project Management or JIRA. Here I am able to see how I am able to share the data. And if any software or any tools, it can be integrated looking into the better interface of the project, or the project management team or the project team is well informed of the matter that is going on and everybody is working on a single tool. I hope with this we'll be able to understand the importance of Confluence or any project management integration tool in our system. Thank you so much.
So friends, now I understand that you would have seen that there are so many important tools like Jira, Confluence, Visualizer, and dashboard reporting, and how important are they for for implementing it in your projects? Because now, if you look into the current industry standards and everything, we are still way back behind when we use technology onto the construction industry. To give you the facts, after agriculture and hunting, this is the least this is the least digitally active space that is on the construction management. So on the construction management, a lot of improvements opportunities are there. There's a lot of things are there. So I would request everybody to keep a note on the new technologies that is coming up, how to integrate it. Like, uh, like I think we are having a shortage of time. That is why I will not be able to take you on to the 5D implementation. I will not be able to take you through on to some of the KPI reporting. How do we do it? So there's a lot into this. So what we have done, this is a platform wherein we have put down more than 50 topics on project management, and we take you down from the beginning, from the concept phase, starting from what are the things that you need to do, what are the percentage completion, what is earned value, what is planning and scheduling, what is important concepts, how to execute monitoring of equipments, coding, and how to look into the real-time measurements of projects. So it has started in from the very basic, then it takes you through onto the advanced thing. Then it also looks into spreadsheets are very important in any projects, and how to use advanced spreadsheet concepts and everything, how to create macros, how to create calendar, how to automatically update the things, and then we take you through onto the advanced concept. On the advanced concept, we look into how to do the risk assessment from theory to implementation, of what is Six Sigma, what is the implementation of Six Sigma, how do we do it, developing KPI reporting. This is on the KPI reporting. This is one of the most important things for every project manager, every project team to understand, because KPI is something that is going to give you what is your performance all about, how you have been doing it. So this is one of the platform that I would look that if anybody is interested, they can ping me with respect to that they are interested into um, more such courses, or they are interested for uh, going into the platform and how to do it. So thank you guys, thank you so much. We are just on time. I would request the people who have joined our program, thank you so much, and you can please put down your questions onto the chat box, and I promise you that I'll be coming you back with respect to all the questions. And I also apologize. This was our first session, and I think there may be some issues with respect to the sound or with respect to some of the things. Please bear it with us, and I promise that when we come back on to the next session, we'll try to improve on it. So, thank you so much, friends. So, thank you.